less everything becomes electric in the automotive industry, but some brands, they keep on pushing their hybrid electric versions, like Toyota with this 12th generation Corolla, and it's got the 5th generation of hybrid system, which is more effective, lighter, more densely packed. So this should be more efficient on the road and a bit more fun to drive. It also got some enhanced technology underneath because it's more or less a facelifted version. It is not a brand new Corolla. The new design elements on the facelifted Corolla are more or less the rims, new type of rims, this new color, and also the new headlights and backlights. There is some makeup on these. So we're going to test both models, the 1.8, which has 140 horsepower. There's also a 2-liter version, which produces 196 horsepower. And we'll start off with this touring sports model. There's also a hatchback, and in some other countries you can get the sedan version. So the trunk space, you get about a little under 600 liter of space. And you get this cover, which was a bit jerky, honestly. I must try that again. You need to fold it down a little. Okay, so very good space here for being in this C-Class segment. And you just easily pop back these seats if you want to push some larger things in here. Oh, and there's some space here as well for the spare tire. If you don't have a spare tire, well, you can tuck some more stuff in there. So I think this is pretty decent. Now let's jump into the back seat here. All right, let's see. So I got my colleague in the front seat. He's 187 centimeters tall, honest car review. So space here, rather good. I'm just 175 centimeters, and the immediate feel when you get in is, it's a little cramped, I must say. You can get your feet underneath here and it feels all right, but you know, you got some space here down to the seating position. So there's some space there. Like to have some more support, but yeah, it's not a big car. But it's a very good feeling back here. A lot of leather, and it feels really, really premium. You're not overwhelmed with a lot of gadgets back here. You have your electric windows, and I can see that you got some USB-C ports to charge your phone, your tablet, or whatever. But more than that, it isn't. And it can be a bit dull back here. So it's just for transportation, nothing more. You don't really want to be much taller than I am back here. You get that premium Toyota feel, it just oozes. And I think it looks good. I think this has stepped up to be more like a Lexus type of ambience. There's something with the design of it, feels a bit more premium. There's a lot more leather, and it looks like the leather is a bit more luxurious in a way. But something that you notice immediately when you step in is this 10.5-inch display here. And I think it's a bit too big, or it's something with the design. It feels like you just pushed something big down. And it also, because I like to sit a bit low when I drive, I usually do that even on the public roads. And it feels like it's covering the side out a bit. You need to sit a bit higher. So it's pretty tall. That's the first impression that I get. But you like a bigger screen, of course, because you have better overview. And what you can feel immediately as well is when you start pushing these buttons, they are much quicker. The computer in this one is a lot more rapid. So you get into your data, to your navigation, and everything that you need much, much quicker. And that is more safe when you're out driving. You don't want anything like this to be sluggish. And this is something that I like as well. I said it in the Toyota GR86, these clicks that they have in their heated seat buttons. I like that. You keep that. There's no semi-touch, there's no glossy panel or anything like that. It's just a solid, good feel when you push them, so you know that they're on. I love that. Keep that. Rather many buttons here, I must say, as usual, but you get into that feeling as well, and you know where you have them. So if you are a previous owner of a car like this, then you know that they're placed in the same spot. The digital gauge cluster here in front of you is new. New graphics, 12.3 inch. And it's also quicker and a bit more bright. So in sunny situations, you see it better, of course. And you can sort out how you want to have your layout here with your eco driving, how much your consumption is, if you want to have the battery in a certain place. So you can configure that to your own taste. And that is also very nice. These also very nice feel in these buttons. Good resistance, and they're very, distinct. 2 cup holders here, that is just good. A little armrest, some stitching all around here as well. That really elevates the premium feel of it. Of course, you are gridded with some plastics here and there, but that is just fine. And let's just soak up how these seats are. They're pretty sporty. You sit comfortable, they're pretty soft and supportive. We'll see out on the road, but it feels like they could be in any Gazoo racing product, really.
A 1970s Corolla, the second generation, was nicely set on the beautiful terrace alongside the new model. A great way to show for how long this model has been in production and has been the world's most selling model. The Kaizen concept changed for good was warmly presented, and charts and equations over how HEV shows the highest reduction of fleet CO2 emissions and how battery materials is shortaged and that infrastructure availability issues is still a rather big matter. It gave us an informative and good insight to how the largest car company in the world approaches solutions their way.
So we're sitting in the 2-liter engine at the moment, and when you roll out like this, it's very quiet. And we got a Swedish navigation turned on as well. Beautiful houses around here. Anyhow, as you roll away, feels very quiet, very, very soft. And this one produces 196 horsepower. It does 0 to 100 in 7.4 seconds. The cells are a bit more dense packed in this new battery, so it's 14% more effective. But the battery loss of that effect is 14% less. And it's also a lot of improvements done to the safety systems in this car. It's very good that they update these and they add some more as a standard feature. So you got this warning when you open your door if there's a cyclist coming. You also got a better view from your built-in camera, your radar. It can see a bit narrower to the car and also a bit wider. So when you get into Midtown and there's a lot of cyclists, pedestrians and cars reversing, parking, this new system, this improved system helps you a lot more, and they just keep you out of trouble. Look at this beautiful road here. So let's just see what type of power this got. How it feels in the bends here. Straight on. No, it's all right. You can also pop it into sport, and then you can go manually, like second, third. And you also got these paddles down here, and then you can go into sport mode. Thank you for adding that. Let's go down to second. Let's see what this is all about. When you push it feels like, wow, it changes gear quick because it changes from second to third, from third to second as quick as you push this button. But that's just a simulation. But you can feel that it's very soft and it's very quiet in here as well. There's no rumbling noise. The only rumbling noise is from the engine when you try to be a bit more ambitious, driving uphill, downhill in a more sporty mode, which this Corolla is the one that gives you the 2.0 with its 196 horsepower. So this is not really a gearbox that gives you some sporty feel. You want to take it out on these roads and just thrash it from day to day. It's not that type of car. The braking feel, well, it's all right. Let's just push it here. Not that much body roll, I think, but it's a good braking feel, because in many hybrid cars, plug-in hybrid cars, which wants to regenerate, there's a very lumpy feel in the brake. But in this one, it feels like it's rather progressive. And we just do a standing start here, full power on, sport mode, and kick down. the thing is that it does it in a very soft way. 7.4 seconds to 100, that's good, but it doesn't feel like it. Even though when you check the speedometer, yeah, it does in under 8 seconds, but it doesn't feel like it. And is that good or not? Well, it's not a sports car, so it's all right. It reaches that speed that you need quite quickly. The steering wheel, there's some holes in it, so it feels sporty, that as well. I mentioned sporty a lot, but you know, it emphasizes the sportiness by giving you this. And the grip is very, very good. So if you want to be a bit more enthusiastic, well, then you are rewarded with that feel. It's very thin. It reminds me a bit of the JR86. Same type of thin layout on the steering wheel. It's okay, but I would like to have a bit thicker wheel in this one. The competition in a car like this is to see how much you can save, how efficient you can be. And then you just put it back into drive, and then you get it back into the Eco mode. And which you can see here, it displays the car really nice. So now you get a glimpse of that nice graphics that this 12.3-inch updated screen gives you. So the Corolla is the world's best-selling car, and that says a lot. So in Europe, it's the second best-selling car in the C segment. And in Sweden, it's the second best-selling car as well. And in the lead is the Kia Ceed. 1.8-liter version, 140 horsepower. There's something when Toyota talk about, you know, driving dynamics, and it's a bit more dynamic, it's a bit more sporty. I don't really get the feel from that 196 horsepower. Of course, it's rather quick, but this CVT gearbox, it doesn't give you that sharp, crispy feeling that you would want from something that is called dynamic. So let's put that aside and just roll off. You know, you got that power in that car, but I don't think you need it. You can get into this car, 140 horsepower, plenty enough. But the consumption between the 1.8 and the 2-liter engine is just the same. But there's some differences in the 2-liter engine, which has been customized a bit more. They worked a bit more with the block, etc. there after what they said at the presentation yesterday. But they weren't really clear about that. So maybe you need to dig into that a bit more and talk to some more technical and knowledgeable person at Toyota. Now it lets out some less carbon dioxides than the 1.8-liter car. As I was pushing these buttons here, I think that from the previous model, I think even the GR Yaris, when I tried that one out, wasn't as updated. Of course it isn't, because this is the new system and it's a lot quicker. The buttons were sitting here, but they were very loose, and it felt like it was like a child's toy or something. Very, very strange feel when you push them. The same buttons, they come down here, but they are much better put in, a much more solid feel to them. You don't get the pedal shifters on this 1.8-liter engine. Well, you don't really need them. But it's a bit frustrating with this navigation system, because in many other cars and models, when you come to your exit, there's another window that pops out and really shows that you need to turn off here. Here it's just from the bird perspective all the way through. And we also found that it jumps a little, this little arrow, as it runs along. So the perspective exactly where you are is not always that good. Okay, so the battery is rather charged, but I think that sometimes when you think that you're a bit lean on the throttle, the engine still kicks in. And it's not like it's locked when you drive in EV mode, because you get up to Eco and then you get over Eco rather easily, and then the engine kicks in. So you really need to, you still, in a car like this, in a hybrid car, you really need to be gentle on the throttle.
The Corolla is without question a solid and well-built car that is tweaked and updated nicely in its 12th generation. that was launched during 2018. So it's not that new, but it still feels very fresh and modern, and with probably the best hybrid system out there. It's a model that gives you a lot when contemplating about if a fully electric car is a bit steep to go, too expensive, or limits your freedom of, in a blink of an eye, just go somewhere far away without the need to plan your charging route, and that a normal petrol car might be a bit dated and too inefficient. Well, with a light foot on the throttle, finding a driving pattern that is calm, you can be looking at a very efficient and cost-saving car here that gives you a great proven level of quality.